Necessary evil. Bro, it's like they knew that this was a war crime, but they were like, yeah, it's necessary. Nah, bro. Oh my goodness. Who named this? All right, the operations room. I've been really wanting to react to this channel for a while, but I never really got to it until now. So
this video is sponsored by CuriosityStream.
Ugh.
Beta. 3 B-29 superfortresses of the 509th Composite Group lift off from the island of Tinian at 2:45 AM. The 3 aircraft begin a long 6-hour journey towards the Japanese home islands. The mood is tense aboard Colonel Paul Tibbets' aircraft, named the Enola Gay after his mother. The date is the 6th of August 1945, and the
Enola Gay after his mother. What type of name is Enola Gay?
is carrying an atomic bomb, a weapon that will change the world forever. 8 years after Japan launched its unprovoked invasion of China in 1937, the Pacific Theatre has raged on. Despite the deaths of tens of millions in what is now the Second World War, the end of the conflict doesn't appear to be near. Japan's empire has been slowly whittled away by the combined might of the Allied powers, but she refuses to surrender even in the face of certain defeat.
You know, it's crazy to me because I really wonder how that would have played out. Because the position that Japan was in, they were in a precarious situation, don't get me wrong, because their fleet was destroyed. But their ground forces, well, that was a different story, to be honest with you. They were still doing offensives in China, even towards the end of the war. Crazy enough.
At the battles of Iwo Jima and Okinawa, Japanese forces are hopelessly outnumbered and outgunned, yet fight nearly to the last man while inflicting over 77,000 casualties on the Allies. The fighting in Burma has been equally savage. Now, the Allies have begun preparations for Operation Downfall, the invasion of Japan itself. However, many in Allied high command are appalled by the casualty estimates for the invasion, which range from 297,000 to over 1 million. Fanatical kamikaze.
You know, I never really understood that logic, to be honest with you, because these men did not care. These men did not care about casualty rate as long as they got the job done. Like, these people did not care. Like, so every time I hear that, oh, they didn't care about, I mean, like, they heard the casualty rate and they were appalled by it. I always took that for a grain of salt. Who knows? Maybe they did. Who knows?
Are expected to take a massive toll on the invaders, while the entirety of Japanese society will be mobilized to repel the attack. Upwards of 5 million Japanese citizens are expected to die in the invasion.
Oh my goodness!
Cost associated with Operation Downfall. Many, including new US President Harry Truman, have looked for other ways to end the war quickly without the need for an invasion. The United States may just have a way. On the 13th of August 1942, the first offices of the Manhattan Engineering District opened at 270 Broadway in New York City. Under the command of General Leslie Groves, the Manhattan Project, as it came to be known, had one goal: the creation of the most powerful weapon ever. Developing pre-war British nuclear research, under the supervision of General Groves and theoretical physicist J. Robert Oppenheimer, the Manhattan Project grew to
Oppenheimer. I see all those freaking fake history buffs. Oh my gosh, I remember when that movie came out and all the freaking fake history buffs was like going crazy and ugh.
Employ over 600,000 predominantly
I gotta make a video about that.
And Canadians, working feverishly to harness the power of the atom. On the 16th of July 1945, the first atomic bomb is successfully tested in Trinity, New Mexico. Armed with this knowledge, Truman, along with British Prime Minister Winston Churchill and Chinese nationalist leader Chiang Kai-shek, issue the Potsdam Declaration on the 26th of July 1945, calling for Japan to surrender unconditionally, or it will face prompt and utter destruction. The Japanese government...
You know what's funny? Yeah, the Japanese did not care. Even when the bomb was dropped on them, they did not care.
And continues to fight on. Desperate to avoid prolonging the war, Truman gives final approval to use the atomic bomb against a Japanese city on the 2nd of August. The day prior, the bomb, codenamed Little Boy, is fully assembled and ready for use.
Bro, I don't like this because if you take this at face value, this honestly just feels like a bunch of US propaganda, American propaganda. That's just like, oh, America was just so righteous and you know they really cared about the civilians and you know, but like there's so much debate on whether or not the atomic bomb was actually used for that. Like, there's actually a good argument, and actually I believe this myself that the atomic bomb was used as a show of force to the Soviet Union because everyone knew that Japan was gonna lose at that point. It was just a matter of when, right? So I don't know. I believe the atomic bomb shouldn't really been used. Like Japan could have surrendered because I'll talk more. Let's see first.
General Groves and a target
I'll talk more later.
have already narrowed down the list of potential targets to 4. The cities of Kokura, Nagasaki, Niigata, and Hiroshima, which have gone relatively unscathed by bombing so far in the war. An hour before Tibbets took off, 3 weather aircraft lifted off from Tinian to reconnoitre the potential targets. Niigata has been ruled out due to weather concerns, leaving the 3 B-29s to report back on conditions over the other cities. Hiroshima and its over 300,000 inhabitants has already been chosen as the primary target, weather permitting. It is an
Bro,
for the enemy's war effort, while also
300,000, man. That's literally like roughly the same population as my entire country. Freaking hell. Oh my goodness, I can't really imagine a freaking nuclear bomb being dropped on my freaking home country, which is an island. Oh gosh. Oh gosh. Oh my, oh, that's so horrible, man. And the island is only like what? I'm talking about my country because it's a small island, Barbados. It's like 21 miles long. Ugh. Oh my god, it's 14 miles wide. Jeez, man, I can't.
Headquarters of the Japanese Second Army. 43,000 Japanese troops are stationed in the city, which also boasts a large port. Furthermore, Hiroshima's flat topography will hopefully maximize the destructive potential of the bomb. A B-29 nicknamed Straight Flush is dispatched to the city to determine whether conditions are good enough for a bombing run.
War crime.
AM Tinian time, Enola Gay arrives over the island of Iwo Jima and circles at 8,000 feet to wait for the 2 escorting superfortresses to catch up. But first, a quick word from this week's sponsor, Curiosity Stream.
I actually tried Curiosity Stream. It was meh. It was honestly meh.
For a hot career, nothing.
East, piloted by Major Charles Sweeney, is carrying blast measurement instrumentation to measure the yield of the explosion. Necessary Evil, piloted by Captain George Marquardt, will observe and photograph the results of the mission. When all 3 aircraft have rendezvoused over Iwo Jima, the superfortresses continue towards Japan while awaiting the weather report. An hour and 20 minutes later, at 7:15 am, Second Lieutenant Maurice Jepson climbs into the Enola Gay's bomb bay and pulls 3 green safety plugs out of the bomb, which had been put there to prevent stray electrical current from prematurely detonating the weapon. He replaces the plugs with new red ones to arm the bomb before informing...
Bro, I swear, my brain, oh my gosh, my brain is so dirty. Every time he's saying plug, I keep thinking of something else that I should not be thinking of. If you don't know, that's fine, good for you.
The Little Boy is ready to use. Tibbets pressurizes the aircraft and begins a slow climb to 32,700 feet, while the crew put on parachutes and flak suits. All 3 reconnaissance aircraft arrive over their targets precisely at 8:09 am. Straight Flush is the first to report back 15 minutes later, sending a coded message to the Enola Gay, which reads, "Cloud cover less than 3/10 at all altitudes. Advice, bomb primary." Tibbets once again turns on the intercom and informs his crew, It's Hiroshima. A one-word message is sent back to the squadron security chief on Iwo Jima, primary. The Japanese
Iwo Jima. I swear, that reminds me of that Boken for meme. Iwo Jima. Oh my god. That's funny. I don't know if anyone here who watches Boken 1. Holy hell, man. That was hilarious.
the city
If you know what I'm talking about, good for
the
you.
residents on the ground are hardly concerned about a single B-29. American aircraft have overflown the city plenty of times without attacking. The warning is lifted soon after, and life in Hiroshima goes on as normal. At 9:05 am, the Enola Gay's navigator, Major Theodore Van Kirk, informs Colonel Tibbets that they are 10 minutes from the target. The aircraft is flying at 31,060 feet when the city comes into view.
Bro!
Prepares for his bombing run.
Wait. You're telling me that they flew over Japan and they didn't get shot down? If I remember correctly, I don't think Japan even had any range to shoot down these aircraft, if I remember correctly, right? I'm pretty sure they didn't.
Cloud cover is at just 10%, far better than the minimum of 30%.
What? Wait.
Required.
Necessary evil?
At night,
Necessary evil? Nah, bro. Whoever named this plane that, necessary evil. Nah, they knew what they were doing, bruh.
over to the bombardier, Major Thomas Farabee, and Tibbets orders him on dark
It's like they knew that this was a war crime, but they were like, it has to be done.
Polaroid glasses.
Oh my gosh, necessary evil. What the heck, man?
A Radio Hiroshima operator reports 3 aircraft in the skies above the city, and another air raid warning goes out. However, the warning is too late to allow any interceptors to scramble, and Japanese anti-aircraft batteries cannot hit the superfortresses at such high altitude.
Yeah.
The aiming point for the bomb, the Ioi Bridge, comes into view at 9:14 am. Farabee calls out, "I've got it." The bomber continues to advance on its target. Little Boy has been set to airburst over the Ioi Bridge in order to cause the most damage possible. 58 seconds later, he shouts, "Bomb away," and the 9,700-pound Little Boy atomic bomb drops free from the bomb bay doors. Colonel Tibbets immediately throws the B-29 into a 155-degree hard turn to get away from the blast zone as quickly as possible. At the
Dog, how in the world, bro? I would not want to do this because how in the world do you freaking drive that plane, or should I say fly? How do you fly so hard fast enough? Because, that blast radius is huge, man. Right? I would not be able to trust myself. I would be panicking, bro. I would probably have a panic attack in the middle of that freaking flying, bro. I thinking to myself if I'm like far enough or not. Because that's like what, 100 seconds that you have to like fly away or something like that. I don't even know.
Escorting B-29, the Great Artiste drops instrument-bearing parachutes which will measure the impact of the explosion before also turning away. On the ground, Hiroshima's streets are packed with early morning rush hour traffic, and its residents have no idea of the impending catastrophe about to befall them.
War crime!
Days, American aircraft had dropped leaflets warning civilians to evacuate the city, but these are mostly ignored.
It doesn't matter. Does not matter. Okay, obviously, like, anyone with a brain would literally look at those and be like, yeah, no one is going to take that seriously. Because, this is 1945. No one knows what the hell an atomic bomb is. Or seen one. Your average person doesn't know. Maybe a spy, right? Because there's a lot of spying going on. I know the Soviets knew. Like the Soviets, that's how they got their atomic bomb. Because they had a bunch of spies that already knew what the hell the Manhattan Project was. But your average citizen, your average civilian doesn't know what the hell an atomic bomb is. So obviously, they're not gonna adhere to that warning. I just think that those leaflets were basically just something for the Americans to be like, oh look guys, we tried to warn them, but they didn't want to listen. Again, a poor excuse, you know.
Radar system
No.
tracks the bomb's descent as it plummets to Earth, travelling over 5 miles from the release point. At 1,968 feet above the ground, the radar altimeter and barometric sensors initiate the detonation.
Damn, he didn't even get to finish. Bloody hell, man. He didn't even get to finish.
A gun primer launches a hollow uranium projectile at 980 feet per second into a uranium mass, causing a supercritical chain reaction that achieves nuclear fission in 0.15 microseconds. After 43 seconds of falling through the air, at 8:16 am and 2 seconds Hiroshima time, the bomb explodes. After just 1 second, a 277,000 degree centigrade fireball, measuring 900 feet in diameter, instantly incinerates any human or animal caught outside near ground zero.
Bro, war crime. That is such a war crime. I don't care what you say, that is a war crime. Oh my gosh, that's horrible.
And even granite stones melt in the intense heat.
That is awful.
Traveling at 984 miles per hour, demolishes tens of thousands of buildings in the blink of an eye, while multiple firestorms erupt instantly throughout the city. 80,000 people are killed in mere seconds.
War crime, man. War crime. War crime. That is horrific. That is so freaking horrific. Like that is so bad, man.
In a position when the bomb explodes. He can see with his own eyes the shockwave approaching the aircraft and yells out a warning. The shockwave buffets the superfortress, followed seconds later by another one. Caron snaps the only official photographs of the explosion while describing what he sees to Colonel Tibbets. A column of smoke rising fast, with a fiery red core. A bubbling mass, purple-grey in colour.
I still can't get over that name. Necessary evil. Bro, it's like they knew that this was a war crime, but they were like, yeah, it's necessary. Nah, bro. Oh my goodness, who named this plane down there?
It's maybe a mile or two wide and a half a mile high. He would later characterize what he saw as a peep into hell. The Enola Gay sends a message back to Tinian. Clear-cut, successful in all aspects. Conditions normal in airplane following delivery. Proceeding to base. Their mission complete, all 3 aircraft begin the long journey back to the Marianas, while what is left of Hiroshima continues to burn. Hours after...
Guys, I just did a massive war crime. Alright, let's go back home after we just did a massive war crime.
Hiroshima, President Truman issues a statement announcing the use of the atomic bomb. He concludes his speech by giving Japan another ultimatum. If they do not now accept our terms, they may expect a rain of ruin from the air, the like of which has never been seen on this earth.
Wow, so America's blatantly admitting that, hey guys, I'm gonna commit more war crimes on your civilian population if you don't surrender. I mean, dude, I was actually talking about this with my manager, because he's also he kind of like discusses a lot about morality and what was right and what wasn't right and yada yada. We believes that the atomic bombings were a war crime. I was discussing this with him the other day, actually at work. I was telling him, I was like, well, at least Pearl Harbor was a military target, you know, like freaking hell. Seriously, at least Pearl Harbor was a military target. Was it a surprise attack? Yeah, bad. But at least Pearl Harbor was a military target. Jeez, man.
Cabinet meets on the 8th of August and debates whether to surrender. Foreign Minister Togo Shigenori suggests that they should accept the terms of the Potsdam Declaration, but the cabinet cannot come to a unanimous decision. Prime Minister Kantaro Suzuki proclaims that the war will go on, but the Foreign Minister asks Japan's ambassador to the Soviet Union to persuade the Soviets to mediate negotiations. Instead, the ambassador is informed by Soviet Foreign Minister Molotov that the USSR is now in a state of war with Japan, effective the next day. Oh, imagine the reaction
Imagine the reaction of Japan when they hear that freaking hey Soviets, we're like kind of cool. You wanna like help us out, mediate? Nah, we're gonna declare a war on you. That's what you get, Japan. It's what you get because Japan literally kind of like screwed Germany over by signing that non-aggression pact with the Soviets, allowing the Soviets to get reinforcements from freaking Siberia.
On the 9th of August, Soviet forces invade Japanese-occupied Manchuria.
And this is why Japan actually surrendered. This is actually why.
Named Fat Man is ready for use. With no sign from the Japanese government, the decision has been made to attack another city. This time, the primary target will be Kokura, and the secondary will be Nagasaki. The mission begins similarly to the attack on Hiroshima, as 2 weather reconnaissance B-29s are sent to scout the target early in the morning. Enola Gay is back in the air to gauge conditions over Kokura, while Major Charles Sweeney will pilot the delivery aircraft, a B-29 named Boxcar. However, during pre-flight checks it had been discovered that the fuel pump for one of the reserve tanks had malfunctioned, which significantly cut the amount of time the B-29 can remain in the air. After a short discussion, the decision was made to continue with the mission. At 3:47 am, Boxcar and its support aircraft, the Great Artiste and Big Stink, lifted off from Tinian and made their way towards the rendezvous point at Yakushima Island. Unlike the mission 3 days prior, this operation is far from smooth. 2 hours into the flight, a red warning light on Fat Man's fuse monitor unexpectedly starts flashing, which indicates that some of the bomb's fuses have been activated.
Oh hell nah, bruh. I would lose my shit. I usually don't swear, but I have to, because if that was me personally, I would go ballistic. I don't know how people, respect to those people. Respect to those people, honestly. Like, respect to those people. That is scary. Like, this is scary in on itself, man. So scary, man.
Hearing the bomb is about to detonate on its own, weaponeer Frederick Ashworth goes to investigate and discovers that ground technicians accidentally misaligned 2 circuit switches. Ashworth quickly solves the issue, and every man on the aircraft breathes a sigh of relief.
Yo, I'm breathing a sigh of relief myself.
Arrives at Yakushima Island at 9:10 am. The Great Artiste soon joins, but not the Big Stink. Despite being told to wait no longer than 15 minutes, Major Sweeney circles for 40 minutes, awaiting the final B-29. However, the Big Stink has got lost in dense clouds and will not make it to the rendezvous point. After receiving word from the Enola Gay that weather above Kokura offers enough visibility for a bomb run, Sweeney decides to proceed with the mission and sets course for Kokura at 9:50 am. Fat Man is armed, and the crew prepares themselves for the climactic moment ahead. Meanwhile, weather conditions begin to deteriorate over Kokura just as Enola Gay has left the area. Worse yet, Japanese defences are put on alert after the departure of the weather aircraft, which will make the mission even more difficult. Boxcar and the Great Artiste arrive over Kokura at 10:44 to find the city shrouded in clouds and dark smoke.
So much for that report.
Bombing run, but the bombardier, Captain Kermit K. Bien, reports to Sweeney that he can't find the aim point through the clouds and smoke. Sweeney has been strictly ordered to bomb visually rather than using unreliable radar guidance, so the placement can be as close to the target as possible.
Guys,
Aircraft.
we gotta kill as much civilians as possible, right? Let's not rely on that stupid radar. No. We gotta make sure as much civilians die as possible.
Break off the bombing run and try again.
That's basically what I get from this.
Again, can't find the aim point. Smoke from an American firebombing attack on the nearby city of Yawata is obscuring the target, and the Japanese industrial factories in the area are producing thick black smoke. The commander of the USAAF's 21st Bomber Command, Major General Curtis LeMay, has escalated the firebombing of Japanese cities following the attack on Hiroshima. Although the renewed strategic bombing campaign is intended to bludgeon the enemy into surrendering, it is now working against this mission. By the third run, Boxcar is running out of fuel after spending 45 minutes above Kokura, and enemy fighters have been detected on radar. The third run also fails, and Sweeney has a decision to make. If he continues waiting for conditions to improve over Kokura, he risks a run-in with Japanese interceptors. He could cancel the mission and make an emergency landing on Okinawa with Fat Man still aboard. Or he could continue to the secondary target of Nagasaki, which is 95 miles away. At 11:32 am, Sweeney decides to make for Nagasaki, along with the great artiste. The city of Kokura has been spared from the destruction thanks in part to the delay over Yakushima Island, spawning the Japanese expression Kokura luck to describe the lucky avoidance of great misfortune.
Wow.
Nagasaki.
Wow. Guys, you're lucky that you didn't get war crimed.
Danger. The city of Nagasaki is one of the most important industrial centres in the Japanese Empire. 2 Mitsubishi factories operate within the city limits, including the Mitsubishi torpedo plant, which mass produces the potent Long Lance torpedo. Additionally, the city of 286,000 people is home to a major port.
Wow, that is like the exact population of my... What? Oh my gosh, man.
Yards vital to the Japanese war effort. It takes just 34 minutes for the superfortresses to arrive at Nagasaki, but Major Sweeney is disappointed to see that weather conditions have also...
Bro, I don't like the way how he's portrayed. This feels like he just took something straight out of American propaganda and he's just reading off of it. Like, oh, Nagasaki is like such a huge industrial center and yada yada. Bro, Japan was being firebombed to oblivion. Regardless, it probably would have been ended up destroyed. Regardless, like, get out of here with that nonsense. Oh, Nagasaki was such a huge, important industrial center. Like, get out of here with that, man.
Deteriorated here. After deliberating with the crew for 2 minutes, Sweeney decides to make one pass over the target. If Bombardier Bien fails to locate the target, the bombing will be aborted. At 11:58 am, Boxcar begins its final bombing run. At this precise moment, the Japanese Imperial Supreme War Council is meeting in Tokyo to discuss a conditional surrender to the Allies. The cloud cover is still too thick over Nagasaki, forcing Captain Bian to navigate using radar. He scans the city through the bomb site before spotting a small break in the clouds 2 miles north of the ideal aim point. Knowing it's now or never, Bian calls out "bombs away" before immediately correcting himself, "bomb away." Fat Man falls free and Boxcar along with the great artiste flee from the target. Unlike Little Boy, which was an enriched uranium gun-fired weapon, Fat Man is a plutonium implosion bomb. After falling for 43
What is the difference?
barometric sensors inside the bomb trigger the fission process.
But what's the
On the
difference?
surface of a sphere of high
Bro, what he
simultaneously to produce inward pressure.
why he doesn't even explain the difference between plutonium and you okay.
11:02 Nagasaki time. The bomb detonates at an altitude of about 1,650 feet.
Woohoo, another war crime.
The blast razes much of the area to the ground in seconds, killing approximately 40,000 people instantly. 3 shockwaves radiate out from the hypocenter, jolting Boxcar and the great artiste, which are flying south towards Okinawa. Since the bomb has exploded in a valley, much of Nagasaki has been shielded from the worst effects of the blast to the flat plain of Hiroshima. However, 44% of the city has been destroyed in the attack. 28 minutes later,
Get war crimed, USA. Am I right, boys?
Tokyo receives word that another atomic bomb has hit Nagasaki. Despite losing 2 engines to fuel starvation, Boxcar will make a successful emergency landing at Okinawa before returning to Tinian later that night. The Imperial War Council is stunned by the twin shocks of the Soviet declaration of war and the attack on Nagasaki. The realization that the United States has built up a stockpile of nuclear weapons has a powerful impact on many in the Japanese cabinet.
Oh my gosh, dude, this is literally just American propaganda shoved down your throat. No, the Japanese did not care. They didn't care about the freaking nuclear bombs. They were literally just like, hey guys, we're getting firebombed anyways. Who cares, right? Like, If anything, the nuclear weapons were actually kind of better compared to getting firebombed in a way. Like, they didn't care. It was the Soviets that influenced in the surrender, because the Japanese were terrified of the Soviets throughout the entire war. Oh my gosh.
President Truman announces the bombing to the American public and concludes his statement by threatening to use the bomb again. We shall continue to use it until we completely destroy Japan's power to make war. Only a Japanese surrender will stop us. 5 days of tortuous negotiations proceed, in which the Imperial War Council goes back and forth on whether to accept the terms of the Potsdam Declaration. Finally, on the 14th of August, Emperor Hirohito announces to his cabinet that the war must end. "I do not wish my people to fall into deeper distress or destroy our culture," he tells them. "The time has come when we must bear the unbearable." Later that day, fanatical officers attempt a coup to stop the surrender, but their efforts fail. On the 15th of August 1945, Emperor Hirohito addresses the nation over the radio to announce that Japan has surrendered. The Second World War is over.
That's awesome, though. That footage is actually awesome.
Nagasaki have changed warfare. The United States has obliterated 2 major cities with the most powerful weapon ever used. According to a 1975 investigative report by the United Nations Non-Governmental Organizations Committee, between 100,000 and 140,000 people are killed in Hiroshima, while another 70,000 are killed in Nagasaki. Over 150,000 have been wounded, and many will suffer from the effects of radiation sickness for the rest of their lives.
War crime!
The vast
I don't care what you tell me. War crime, man!
Colonel Paul Tibbets is awarded the Distinguished
This is so
Service Cross
disgusting.
after bombings, and the 509th
Guys, look, you commit a war crime here. Have a medal for it. No, man.
Opposite Group will later be awarded an Air Force Outstanding Unit Award in 1999. The necessity and ethical responsibility of the atomic bombings of Hiroshima and Nagasaki continues to be debated to this day, and will be explored on our sister channel, The Intel Report.
It wasn't necessary. It was not necessary, dear. I said it. Look, man, you made it all the way to the end of this video. Go check out my other reactions, man. Yeah, I'm starting to like pivot my content to more other stuff now. I haven't forgotten about my other reactions that I have to do because I have suggestions. But if you have any suggestions that that I would love to react to, go and comment down below for me. And if you like my original content, go subscribe for that as well. Or you can just go subscribe for my reactions. It doesn't really matter. Anyways, man, thank you for watching and goodbye.